It started when Chris, Matt, and Phil, three friends, wanted to create an experience like nothing they had ever seen before. And it was a reaction to the feeling of living in a city surrounded, they were in New York City, surrounded by many, many people, but feeling less and less connected to the people around them, and seeing how disconnected everybody else was. And so they wanted to create a show that revolved around a community of people and brought people together, and involved music, and operated in a primal sense that is deep enough in a place inside all of us that connects us and isn't what makes us different. It's what makes us all the same. And they found that's how they sort of discovered the Blue Man character. They discovered this character, this human. He is a human. He can seem kind of alien at first, but once you start to get to know the Blue Man character, he's very much a human. And through this Blue Man character, and putting the Blue Man through different experiences, playing different music, creating unique instruments for the show. What was also really beautiful was the arc. There was a very large arc from the beginning of the show to the end, because people were not reserved, but listening. People were really listening and looking and observing the Blue Man character, and not as interactive in the beginning, but very much listening. And then as the show went on, people became more and more interactive and more excited, and by the end of the show, it culminates in this really big fun party, and everyone is on their feet. So it was a real success, and it was real fun, really fun. That's always a challenge, because in a way that gets in the way a little bit of what we're trying to accomplish. But at the same time, that's what people want to do. That's how people want to interact with the show, and that's okay. I mean, sometimes that can be distracting to the people around you, and so it really depends on the theater. We don't try to put any strict rules on what is okay and what's not okay in the theater. So sometimes the staff in the theater, they have rules that you can't record, you can't play your phone. So sometimes they will regulate that. But for us, it's really about the way people have to be free to experience the show in the way they want to. I guess the goal for us would be to, maybe if those people are recording, maybe there'll be some moment in the show where you realize, maybe I don't need to be recording this right now. Maybe I need to just be experiencing it live right now. And that will be what I take with me. And it'll affect me in a much deeper way. So I think if we do our parts right, maybe that will change throughout the arc of the show, like I talked about before, yeah. One of the things that got me the most excited about Istanbul was the movie Crossing the Bridge, the music of Istanbul, because I really like music. I like different types of music, and I'm not necessarily a musician, but I get to play a lot of music in the show with a lot of great musicians, and I get to play unique instruments, and getting to Istanbul and getting to experience that live is magical and unique. There are so many different cultures that have been living here for so long that there is this real deep sense of community, and communities living together with their own cultures. And it's fascinating. It's so alive in the city. The energy is really powerful in Istanbul. Walking through the markets, going to the different areas of the city, you get an immediate sense of how different all the areas are, and they have their own identity. And to have that all in a relatively, it's a huge city, but in a relatively small area, is really fascinating and unique and really fun.
Blue Man Group started with the three original founders who came together as a group. Actually, they were part of a bigger community of really creative people. And what they wanted to do was to put on a show that they wanted to see, that has music and humor and science and light, and it's messy, it's full of paint and all these things. So when we look for someone to join the Blue Man Group community. We look for someone who is creative, who wants to work together with people, who's very talented. And so if you are a performer and you bring that, you can totally become a Blue Man. And if you're a musician who's passionate about these things, playing together, creating something new, then you can join the group. And that's the same is for technicians, sound, light, carpentry, the stage. All these things have to come together to put on a show like this, and then put it in 7 trucks and go on a world tour. Well, that's a really fun, and also it's an experiment, I would say. We bring a big portion of the show where that's just our music is like our vocabulary. So when we come to a new place like Turkey, me and the team, we would sit down and think like, okay, we want to bring some music, we want to perform some music that the audience maybe has heard before, so we can connect and then go from there together. So we've been asking some friends, some other artists, go like, hey, we come to Turkey, we want to play some Turkish music but on our instruments. Do you have some ideas? And so, we did some experimenting, and yesterday we tried for the first time, and yes, it's like, okay, there was no way around it, and it worked from that sense. Well, I live in Berlin, and Tarkan was a big hit in Germany as well. I always wanted to come here, or I wanted to come here for a long time, so, and we'll be here for a little while, so I'll have some time to walk around and check it out. It was great. It was exciting. I think the biggest part always for us, and also for a new audience, is they go into the theater and we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what to expect really. And really early on, the audience realizes that this show is not about sitting down quiet and just watching the show happen. It's different. They become a voice in the space. They're almost like the fourth Blue Man, because we want to connect. We want them to react and have a good time together. So there's a participation. We want, when you laugh, something's funny. You laugh, you clap. You have to stand up. You kind of have to help us a little bit. And when you realize, or when the audience realizes that this is happening right now, they go like, "Oh my God, this is like, I'm part of it." Right? And yesterday I had the feeling that the audience got that really early on, and they had a great time. So it was great to play here.
Always. Me is. No, I'm alright, thank you.